And we are live in StreamYard. Just whilst we get everything ready for Facebook, we can say hi to everybody. Hi everyone, how's everybody doing? Hi Mike, hi Chris, hi Haresh, hi Jayesh. How are you doing, Andy? You all good?
I'm well, mate. Very well. I am
Yeah.
very, very well. Yeah. I am working on the Institutional Accelerator program. Got some really exciting things that I'll be doing on that program. So I know, Chris, you're on that program. So nice to see you here. And it's very late for you, isn't it, Chris? Is it? Was it? But well, it's not actually so bad. Chris is in Australia. Harish,
I think
very nice.
I think the timings for people in Oz it's definitely a late one for the later sessions, but Chris makes them.
She does. She does.
She's you can
And
tell she's
I
committed.
promised her that I'm going to do my best to make sure that the timings work for the Australian time zone for her, and I think we've got another person from Australia that's on that program as well. Good to see you, Haresh.
The last like couple of years, we've had so many people from Oz join us. We're going global now, Andy.
God, I hope everyone's okay. I saw those the shootings in Australia.
Yes,
Bondi Beach. Yeah, I saw some clips. Some people, some real heroes actually, like members of the public. You know, literally stopping the gunmen. Like literally, I mean, in the UK, that would never be happening. Well, although to be fair, in the UK, the person stopping the gunman would probably get arrested, and the gunman would go free.
yeah, you're not far off, to be fair.
So
it's
I hope you guys are all okay.
Yeah, I only caught it the other day, and I think I saw the same video. It's like this bloke who's got like big like shotgun, isn't it? And someone like tackles him and like takes the gun off of him.
Yeah.
It's mental.
JS, really nice to see you, man. Yeah, you're not going to be disappointed. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into making it, you know, really what it needs to be for you guys to get results. So I'm looking forward to it as well. Yeah, really sad, Chris. Really sad. Sad to see this going on in this world. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, well, actually, I won't say on live, but it was targeting a specific group of people. So, yeah, a lot of hatred. Oh,
what
wow.
I'll do,
Yeah, from Korea.
What I will do, mate, I'm just getting the Facebook thing up and running as well. Yeah, so I can see who's in here. Right, so we've got Mitch, Kevin, and Steve as well. Hi, guys.
Yeah, Mitch, he's making up some lies about his camera not working, mate. So as the meme guy, Mitch, you're going to have to show us a picture of what he probably looks like.
Just get like a picture of a hillbilly. Honestly, it's so bad right now.
Oh, mate, come on, put the camera on.
No, seriously, like genuinely.
Who believes him? Come on, let's put in the comments. Who believes Dan?
Well, the CSI 2.0 guys, they know that there have been some circumstances where my camera hasn't worked, and sometimes it has. So they're quite used to me having my camera off. Oh. And even for a lot of like one-to-one coaching calls and stuff like that, I have my camera off. I'd put it on if I could. Trust me.
All right, we'll let you.
So, yeah, so have that. It's like my front tooth. So JS, it's my front tooth. Like literally, one of them has just completely snapped, like completely shattered. So I've got literally a gap like right in the front of my face.
Just gonna show you a trade I took yesterday. Actually, it's pretty decent. Kiwi dollar. So I I went short.
Spill the sauce.
Yeah, so I went short here. So what I did, I wanted to put the manual fib on to show people, but like it turns out like if you with the manual one, it will just go to the, you can't go back, if that makes sense. So I just drew this in manually here. So it will just go to the lowest point here. So for some reason, but anyway, we might fix that. But yeah, so I basically had the manual fibs in here. Obviously, it was in a nice downtrend. I looked at the currency indexes individually as well. And if you see here, we had really strong supply. And so I plotted the up Fibonacci and identified here as a D. And obviously there was a trend line here. So what I did was I put an order at 57.99 because there was a round number. And we had this trend line. I thought, well, I'm not going to try and get the very, very top, although as you can see, I would have got a much better entry if I went up there and better reward to risk. But I wanted to show you this, guys, because obviously we're all human. And when I looked at this, I was like, God damn it. I've got myself, roughly just under a 2-to-1, but then you kind of see how it kind of moved and where it went to. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because I think it's really important that you follow a plan and you stick with it. And the reality is like sometimes there will be trades that run a lot further than your target. But what I do with my targets is I try and take a trade that completes on the day. So when I set my entry and my target, I had a little look. If you kind of look to the left here, if you guys can see, let me bring my pen in. If you guys can see, there was quite a lot of support here. Like you can really see like buying activity. So my thought was, well, this is an area where I think sellers will be interested. And I think this is an area where buyers will probably be interested. And I felt like we could get there within a few hours, which is what happened. And target got hit, great. And then sometimes I think as traders, I don't know if you've experienced this before, but when you see it kind of do a lot more than what your target was, you might look at it and think, have some regrets about that. But I think what I've learned over many years is that if you're consistent with what you do, that's how you make money. You don't make money with like changing things up with whenever you feel like it. So like sometimes what I've seen people do during like whilst I'm coaching them is that they might see something like that, and then the next time they take a trade, they say, do you know what, next time I'm going to go for a big target because I missed out on the last one. And then what happens is you get really inconsistent results because you're not following the same process. You're being very reactive. So the time to do that is outside of the trading arena. So when you start to kind of work with a coach or review your trades on the weekend and really think about your trades, if you find there's a pattern of this happening and you're leaving a lot of money on the table, that's when you can make that adjustment. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys.
100%. I think a big part of today is non-farm payroll. For those that don't know, NFP is probably up there with one of the largest news events of the month. The volatility that can come with NFP is really, really high. Obviously, we've got that coming out at 1:30 today. I think it'll be good to kind of get maybe your process and your way of thinking, Andy, around how maybe you prepare for NFP and maybe what to expect or how you're going to trade it, because that can play quite a crucial part in people's plan, right?
Yeah, I think this one's a bit more of a tricky one because of the US shutdown. but in general, it's volatile. But today, there's a lot more uncertainty about the number. So I think, like, it can really surprise, and it can create quite a large move. On a sort of, from a risk point of view, taking a position prior to the number today would be very, very highly risky, and I wouldn't do it personally. I think like if there's a big surprise, the liquidity will be very small, and you can get a lot of slippage as well. So that's why generally, like, if you look at like any numbers that come out quarterly, for example, there's always extra volatility with those, like GDP, for example. And because of the US shutdown, this has a little bit of that feeling. And there's a lot going on right now with the economy in the US, and this number is very important. So personally, the way I'd use this is, let's see what the data is, because I think there could be a fundamental shift in trend direction. So I think the thing that we have to remember is that news has two things. It's either going to be just volatility, where it just creates a bit of noise, or it can be impactful, where there's a trend setting event. And that's what we need to kind of identify. If this is going to set a trend in the US dollar going over the next few weeks, and then we could trade that trend. So if you recall, yesterday I already spoke about right now what the higher timeframes look like. When we were looking at the euro dollar, for example, and we were talking about, let me just remind you what we said yesterday. We're talking about this area here, where we could say, well, this is a range, but there is that kind of, last 3 weeks where we're starting to see some strong momentum to the upside. I think today's number could be very influential in that. Is it going to just high test? Is it going to reject and stay within this range, or are we going to have a breakout? And is it going to create a breakout week? And if it does, what it means is that the likelihood is that we're going to have some nice trending opportunities for potentially next week. And even the rest of the week. So that's what I'm looking at for. I'm kind of looking for direction. And I think the safest thing to do is to watch today and see what kind of daily bar we get.
So I've got a question for you, Andy, and this is actually directly from me. What do you do to kind of prepare yourself for the news and maybe what numbers are going to come out? So obviously you say there's a lot of uncertainty around NFP with like the US shutdown, and people aren't certain about the numbers that are coming out. How do you know that?
How do you know what specifically?
How do you know that there's like a lot of uncertainty around NFP today? Is there anything that you do?
The US shutdown, because like we haven't got we haven't got all of the data that we'd normally get. So
right, okay.
So basically, today's data is not just this month's data, and that makes it more uncertain. So
right, okay.
But the way that you generally deal with news events anyway, on a normal day, I'm okay to play, put a limit order in, or wait for the, get to a really nice zone and potentially buy with the trend. That's the way that I'd normally play. So say, for example, euro dollar right now, if I was going to take a position, I'd look for longs. I would avoid shorts. So that means that we go back to lower time frames. We go back to, like, say, an hourly time frame, because this isn't a strong uptrend, and trends normally, you know, we normally stick with the trend. So any kind of negative number will normally be just, you know, a reaction, and then the market will probably continue with its trend. I'm just studying price action right now, and you've got to remember that institutions have much more of an idea of what to expect based on the things that they have, the tools that they have. So when I study this chart and I look at what's going on right now, you know, this is institutional buying and this is consolidation. So if overall institutions are buying, I'm thinking, do you know what? You know, any kind of negative reaction might represent a really nice buying opportunity, like somewhere there, for example. You know, and that, you know, like that's a good example. So you've got a trend line, demand zone, round number. So if we were going, if I was going to get involved, I'd want to sell dollars. You know, that's so like buy euro against the dollar, for example, and go with the current momentum, go with what institutions are currently doing. Remember, markets are manipulated. So this looks like a good value area, for example, but we need to do a lot more than just this. So if we do something here, actually, let's add in our daily trading range, and let's just add in a bit of an exaggerated multiple as well. Okay, so I see what I'm going to do. I am going to fit this to the top end, even though we are looking for a buy. I can right now, the extra volatility has come on the upside, right? But if I'm looking to buy this, I just want to fit it to this upside volatility and then potentially use that on the downside as a potential area. So you can see right there, that's the extreme. Okay, so 1.5. 1.5 is literally bang on where I said. Can you see that? So
and it's at one of my favorite levels as well.
117, right there. Clear demand here. And I mean, yeah. And it actually is pretty nice because it brings you into like this 38.2 fib as well. So if you were gonna get a negative reaction, I'd consider a buy around that sort of zone. And the way you can do it is you can stick a limit order in, but remember it's very, very, very volatile. So you have to be a little bit careful. Or you can wait for it to kind of get to your zone and then go to like a really low time frame and wait for some kind of reversal pattern, like maybe a candlestick pattern. But if you are somebody who likes to use limit orders, you know, we can have a little look here. That would be a sort of trend line. You've got 618 is also a very, very popular zone where institutions would want to buy. So if you want to do this as a swing trade, here's the kind of thing that you could do. And this gives you a decent enough chance to stay in the trade. So you could go stop below 618 because institutional buying will probably happen there as well. So you could just give yourself that room. And then you could go for the D extension up there. That would give you just under 3-1. So that is a really nice, simple swing trade. And obviously you can wait, let the news play out. If it kind of let it do its thing, you know, maybe by the end of the day, end up doing something like that, for example. And then you could get involved, you know, tomorrow or on a pullback and look to get in with a tighter stop because you have a little bit more information and things have calmed down. So either is fine. You just got to be consistent with how you do it.
Perfect. No, I think that's a really good example, Andy. Like, I guess for the benefit of everybody watching, when there's such high impact news coming out, it all comes down to getting best price possible. And I know it's easier said than done, but you're not looking to kind of chase any trade or, you know, get any sort of fear of missing out because there's something high impact coming out. It is a case of you're aware of the volatility that's going to be coming into the market. And because of that volatility, you don't just want to jump in. You only want to jump in when you are getting an exceptional price, something that it has a high probability of making you money. So I guess that's why, you know, when we've put the DTR on, when you've put your fibs on, these aren't just confluence areas, they're extreme areas, right? They're areas where if the extreme happens today, there's a high probability that we'll see some sort of bounce around that area. So yeah, it's really about kind of catching that extreme, I guess. But yeah, I think that's really valuable insight. We've got a really good question here as well, Andy, about what to do in terms of trading over Christmas. So given that we're so close to Xmas, at what point does institutional trading volume drop off? When will we stop trading for the Christmas break? Do you have any sort of advice or recommendations on that?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from experience that as a hedge fund trader, we were in over Christmas. We go in the holidays. Obviously not Christmas Day, Christmas Eve half day normally, most people. But other days are pretty much normal days. So yes, volume does drop. People take holidays. People end the year, finish up the year. Some people stay on and try and bump up their earnings for the year. But I would say volume will drop just generally from Christmas Eve onwards, but there's still enough opportunities. So if you want to trade 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, yeah, it's a little bit less volume, but there's still enough opportunities. But you've got less participants for sure. So I think what I do is how I adapt to that is I don't have to adapt too much because of the way that I trade, but like, 'cause I'm normally going for short-term moves anyway. But if you don't, and you go for really long, big moves, you're unlikely to get really big trends during those days. But there's enough, you know, if you think lower volatility, what does it mean? It means less breakouts generally. So you could be more reversal type trading, just looking for good, strong zones to play reactions off. But if you're not comfortable with that, then best thing is, and it's actually a really good time, is to just review your trade plan for the year, review your trade journal. If you haven't been doing that, then make sure you're set up for the new year to be journaling your trades and just get prepped for January. But again, January is the same thing. First few days will be a bit more quiet, and then everybody will probably come in 4th, 5th of Jan, mostly, where big volatility comes back in. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Let me just check the Facebook group as well, because by the way, guys, we there's loads of people have already commented raffle. By the way, we haven't even mentioned anything. So for those that already, or for those that don't know, should I say, we're holding a live event on the 22nd. So Monday the 22nd. We're going to be holding a raffle. We do it every year. We raffle off loads of really cool prizes, where we're basically just going to be giving loads of stuff away for free. There's loads of stuff on there that we're ready to kind of give away. If you comment raffle, if you can do it specifically on Facebook, that would be great. Comment raffle on the Facebook video, and you'll be entered into the raffle draw. For every live that you attend up to the main event, you will get an additional raffle ticket. So we'll enter you into a draw, and it just gives you a higher chance of winning one of our prizes. I mean, some of them are literally worth thousands of pounds. So it's really, really exciting stuff. We'll send out a link where you can register for that live event. So it'll be, I think we said Monday 22nd at 12 o'clock, didn't we? So same time as today, just on Monday. So we'll get that sorted. We'll get that sent out to you. But if you guys comment Ruffle, you get entered in. If you join on more and want to join us for a trading chat and some festivities, then yeah, you have an increased chance of getting a prize at the end. There's some names here that I haven't seen in a while. Nick. I can't pronounce his last name whatsoever. You will be able to. Greek Nick.
Babastiliano.
That's it. Well done.
If I remembered it correctly.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, it's just a load. I'm not going to lie to you, Nick. It's just a load of jumbled up letters to me. I'm not even going to try it.
Come on, mate. Give it a try at least.
Papas Stylianou.
Now,
is that right?
I want Nick to vote now. Who said it better?
Well, of course it's going to be you. You've got the Greek heritage.
That is true. That is true. You went to Greece, mate, quite a few times.
I have, yeah.
You should have learned something.
Let me see if I can remember.
Greek gyros.
Oh, I absolutely. I indulged myself in a lot of gyros when I go to Greece. Gyros is amazing. To be fair, I don't know a lot, but it's always karimera, karimera, karimera. That's all I
know. Well, we need to send you back to Greece, I think, mate.
Yeah, you need to send me to Greek school.
Oh yeah, do you know what? You should come with my kids, mate. I'm sure there's space with my 4-year-old.
how degrading for me to go to 4-year-olds.
Truth, mate. The kids will be running out of that classroom.
Yeah, they think a pirate has rocked up.
Oh god. Yesterday I promised that I was going to look at gold, so we can do that. And if anyone else has got anything that they want to take a little look at, happy to. If you didn't see the fibs, we spoke about it yesterday. Finally, we have them coded in TradingView, and I don't know about you, mate, but I've just found it so much easier to have than
unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely unreal. I've been using them since yesterday, and holy moly, like seriously, I don't think I've had them off of my charts. They're very, very helpful.
So yeah. Anyone trade gold? I'll make sure that
I covered gold this morning. We did actually. I know we covered gold a little bit yesterday as well, but overall, we're really looking more towards the buys.
Yeah,
more towards the buy side. There'll probably be a few students in CSI 2.0 that will probably be in a buy on gold as we speak. I am. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean the buy side definitely. I mean, when we talk about trends, like if you're going against the trend, you have the odds are immediately against you, I would say. So if you're going to take a direction, the buy side makes the most sense right now. I think my main concern right now is
NFP.
Yeah, NFP, strong kind of supply bar from here that we're basically retesting, and then yesterday's kind of indecision bar. I think my preference would be just to sit this one out for NFP, see what happens. I think similar to the euro, what I said before, where I think there's some really easy money making opportunities is if we can get above here a strong close, then any pullbacks, and you can go down to a really low time frame, any pullbacks will be really great opportunities. And I think that's what I'd be looking for. And if we do go lower, I think I'd be looking for, good zone similar to what we said with the euro dollar.
Sure.
So that's the way that I would approach it. Are you going to Are you going to run it through NFP?
I can. Yeah, I can. I can do. I was going to just see, what the reaction was like if it gets far away from my entry before then. If it's far away from my entry, usually I'll let it run. But if it's hovering around it, I'll usually close it just before. Because it's just the spreads can go absolutely crazy around NFP as well, and there've been occasions where I've had a low risk trade on, and I've kept it open over NFP. Spreads have widened, it stopped me out, and then I've had slippage, so I've ended up losing twice as much as what I was actually prepared to lose. So now I don't really trade. I don't hold any trades around NFP if it's close to my entry. Usually I'll wait maybe like 5 minutes after NFP and then maybe look to re-enter if needs be. But it all really depends on the scenario.
So I think if anyone is looking for an entry in gold, I like this. I like these two zones here. So I'm just going to show you what I would personally look for. So here you've got an overextension, which is a 200, takes you really right into this strong area here. And then you've got the D there as well, which is old resistance that becomes support. So if I put a block here, and we'll just make this a bit more transparent. I think for me, like I'd look at this area here as the start of demand, really strong move initially from here. I think institutional buying could come into this zone if we get, depending on what data we get. Right now. So overall, buying makes the most sense in my opinion. This area here could be a good value area. I mean, this DTR is not really fit to this market. So what I would probably do as well is adjust it a little bit, maybe 1.3. Let's try that. Not bad. That's like extreme. Yeah, one there. So that's probably, yeah, we do go through it sometimes. And it is I mean, 1.5 is a safer bet. If you want, I'd say maybe it's like your kind of extreme, takes you all the way down there. So I think, yeah, there's a play there. I think look, you've got, generally speaking, for those that don't understand the fibs, I'll explain something here. So you've got your A, your B, and there where it's a D prediction, that's generally where your D is. But when you are going against the trend and it's an overreaction, we often go to the 200 extension, which would take you all the way back there. And coincidentally, that's the 618 here as well. So around that sort of 4230, that looks like a really nice zone to me. And you could play it with, a fairly conservative stop probably and be okay. I'd be amazed if unless it's some shocking number, if we did go down, if we didn't at least kind of hold here, even if it's temporary. So personally, that's the area that I would go for. And this is the thing, this is what trading is about. It's about following your own way of thinking about things. Otherwise, I'd be happy to just sit it out, let the market do its thing. If it goes up, like I said before, nice close, we'll wait for a pullback tomorrow and then look for a long trade then.
Yeah, 100%. I've gotten in at a buy. By the looks of it, I don't think it'll get too far away. But I was actually in on a buy from 4274.
Nice.
If you map that out, 4274.
Yeah, I'll bring it back in. I was just mapping out that 4230 zone to see what it looks like on the daily.
Yeah. So 4274 was where I was in on a buy. And then let me check where. So targeting at the moment 4322. So it's only a short-term trade.
Yeah. And the issue you have, if you go really tight on your stop, I mean, what time have we got? Yeah, you got about 55 minutes. So you're going to need you'll need it to go your way, I guess, for it to probably hit that.
Yeah, exactly. And then literally the other two, I've actually got three zones. I've got the FIBD, which is at the 4245, the 200, which is at 4220, which is the 200 level, and then an interesting level that I think is actually all the way down towards 4170.
Yeah, probably not today.
Because it's no, not today. But I think that looks really nice in retesting or even taking out those previous lows before we go again.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that, again, this is individual, but like sometimes if I do run something through the news, and I think it could be a big one, what I'd sometimes do is I'll open up the target. I won't have it fixed and watch the market, because sometimes you could get like a monster move and turn a small risk into something pretty big. So
yeah,
you'd have to be right on it, and sometimes it doesn't work out, or you put an exaggerated target just in case it spikes, just in case it goes big. And you probably want to have the limit in, because if you're trying to get out with the market order,
sure,
you'll get loads of slippage. But yeah, Krista, Andy, are you a day trader or intraday? That's a good question. So my expertise is probably, I would say, day trading. But what I do now is I spend a lot less screen time. So I place orders, and I do that mostly in the mornings, sometimes at NY as well, NY open, and I will just kind of let them play out. So yesterday I placed an order around New York on Kiwi, and then I checked it a few hours later and it had already hit my target. But generally speaking, I'll do it sort of 5, 6, 7 in the morning. If there isn't much, I normally will look at New York, but it's just limit orders, leave it alone. I will sometimes put alerts in as well to go and have a look if I'm not confident in putting a limit order in. Like if I've got some doubts and I want some extra confirmation, like maybe I want so sometimes we can't tell. So if you're using like an external indicator, like an RSI, for example, and you want that additional confirmation, well, if you put a limit order in, you won't know if you've got that confirmation. So in those circumstances, if I'm not 100% confident on the trade, I'll put an alert and I'll take a look when the market gets to my zone. And then, because I am available, but I just choose to use my time doing something else. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions on that as well. But for most people, finding a system using limit orders makes the most sense, because it gives you freedom.
exactly.
Any other questions, guys? Any other markets? I could maybe do one last one, and then we're going to wrap up for today.
So we haven't had anything in the Facebook group just yet. People, I think, were more interested in gold.
Yeah.
We do have a quick question from Kevin. Andy, are you drinking ouzo?
No.
Drinking
Not.
on the job.
That's yeah, that stuff's this pretty bad, to be fair.
Oh, you're not a fan?
No, we have our own. So that's more of a Greek thing. We have our own Cypriot stuff. Nick will tell you the real stuff. It's pretty potent, but it's actually all right to drink. You can get homemade like 90% alcohol.
What would you say? That's like moonshine. That's dangerous.
Yeah, the homemade stuff is, but they use it for medicine apparently as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, it just knocks you out. Gets rid of all sorts of pain. It literally just knocks you out.
Oh, we've got another question now. We've got another one. Not that one. Do you prefer buy stops, sell stops, or buy limits, sell limits? I prefer buy limits and sell limits personally. I think the reason for that is because for the reason that I said before, it's like less screen time is really important for me. I want to do less screen time, which means, you know, I think when you're doing buy stops, sell stops, generally you're doing probably momentum trading. You're going with the flow. And reality is that if you get stopped out, for that system to work effectively, you probably should be available to take it again. Whereas with limit orders, generally, I'm going to give it the room that it needs. And actually, this is a really good tip. The thing that I always, when you're placing a limit order, and you place your entry, and you place your stop, and you place your target, that stop almost invalidates my idea, where I don't really need to retake that trade. And if I do, what I'll do is I'll put 2 limit orders in. Does that make sense? So, like, if I get stopped out, it's like I was wrong on the whole idea. I thought something was going to happen and it didn't. And therefore, I'm now stopped out. So therefore, that idea, or maybe it was a trend trade, right now isn't really valid anyway. So I don't need to go back into the market. I can wait until the next day, see what happens, and then I can reevaluate if there's a trade set up there or not. Whereas sometimes with buy stops, what happens is you go buy stop, you think it's going up, stops you out, but it still could go up. And if you don't re-enter, then you miss the move. So that's the main reason. Plus, I like to buy value rather than getting in at high prices. So it's how I've always traded. So it's how I trade. Not sure what these messages are from Tahira.
Yeah, I've been trying to get them out.
Yeah, well, guys, ignore these links. I don't know. There's some WhatsApp messages or WhatsApp group links that have been posted.
Yeah,
so
idiots.
Sure.
That's what they are.
No worries. And another question I've got there is this one here. So how many? So 2, max 3, between 1 and 3 trades a day. If I find, I will generally score my trades. I'm not sure what your name is, but I will generally score my trades in terms of like whether I think it's a really solid opportunity. And if I really like just one setup, I'll put a little bit more risk on that one setup and I'll go for it, like instead of having 3 trades. So if I looked across and I thought, you know what, euro or gold is the only one that I want to play today, the rest of them don't appeal to me. In that case, I might put 1% on that trade rather than splitting my risk up over 3 trades. Like, especially if I'm giving it a little bit of room, I will go up to 1% on a trade. And again, it's more because of how I've adapted over the years is I am trying to leverage time. Like if I think that's the setup to play, I'll put my risk on. If that 1% risk plays out, I might get 3 or 4% on that one trade. Happens. And that I only need one of those, and I'm happy with that for the month. You know, if I get 2 of those, great. So if everything else is break even, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, and then I get 2 or 3 great trades, that's it. My month is done. And that's typically like out of say 30 trades in a month, 40 trades in a month, typically 3 to 5 trades make my P&L. That's pretty standard. And that's why you don't know when it's going to happen. But when you see a good setup, don't be afraid to put your risk on that setup. What's the amount you risk on an 8? Yeah, 1%. Do you know what? If I'm doing, I'll correct that. If I'm doing a swing trading account, I'll even go up to 1.5% because the stop is much bigger. So I know it's like got room to breathe, and I've got some trade management in there as well. So I can, once it kind of moves, I can tighten that risk up. So on a swing trade with a bigger stop, a significantly bigger stop, where I'm really mostly making my decisions off the daily and 4-hour and weekly, 1.5% is okay. For me personally, that is. Let's see. Another question here. Do you then have a goal each time you trade, e.g. 1% a day? No, I have a monthly goal. My goal is to hit 3 to 5% a month consistently as a minimum benchmark. Anything above that, it's a lovely bonus. But if I'm in that kind of bracket, because I'm managing quite a few accounts, 3 to 5% gives me what I need. If there's opportunities, what I will do is if I've had a really good start and I'm already 3 to 4, 5% up already, I'll get a little bit more strict with the trades that I take. I will then want really A+ setups to take. And I will ignore the average trade, or I will go really low risk just to kind of entertain myself. You know, like when you've done the work, you think it's a good trade. I'll take it, but I'll put like a really small amount of risk on where it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work out. It's not going to make much of an impact on my account. So, Chris, I don't really, so to answer your question, no, I'm not really interested in day targets because I'm looking at it as like over the month, I'll have a certain amount of opportunities to hit my target. And another question, do you trade mostly Forex or other? What are your favorites, Dan? What do you tend to look at most in JPY? I'll answer for me, and then Dan, you can answer for you. So mostly Forex, sure. And gold and a bit of Bitcoin is what I tend to focus on, but mostly Forex.
For me, it's Forex, gold, and I trade indices as well. So I'm pretty active on the DAX, the FTSE 100, and the Dow Jones usually. A little bit of the S&P here and there, but mainly the ones that I'm usually involved in are the DAX and the FTSE. They behave very, very differently. So it's important that your approach is different for those types of markets. There are strategies that you can implement where, you know, the theory is the same and it still does work, but the way that the market moves is very, very different. You know, indices is quite a new thing for me, to be fair. I've probably been trading them for about a year now. And you know, I usually get drawn to indices when there's not really much going on in the FX world. You will usually find an opportunity on indices every day, usually. But yeah, they're the ones that I prefer, really.
Yeah, and this one's our last one for me, and I think we'll wrap up today. But yes, absolutely, you should use prop accounts. In my opinion, why not? You can leverage other people's money, and you can scale way bigger than just using your own. Personally, I think it's a smarter thing to use prop accounts, good prop accounts though. Don't go with the cheapest ones. Go with the ones that are reliable, that are going to pay you, that are not going to make up some rules and not pay you. And then use that money, any money of your own. You can invest that. You can put it into long-term investments rather than putting it into a brokerage account. So my personal opinion, as long as you can work and understand the rules around prop firms. And if you can't, then you have to master that, because that's the when I was in institutions, we had risk management. It's no different. You had to adhere to the risk management, or you get shut down. It's the same thing. There's rules. You have to follow them. That's it. And if you can't follow them, then you're probably not trading correctly anyway. So anyone who says, "Oh, I don't use prop firms because I don't like their restrictive rules," it's telling me that they're probably probably gambling and not following good risk management principles. Okay, Krista's asking one more question, but so yeah, we both trade prop firms. All right,
prop firms are the way forward.
Do you trade certain pairs for each account, or do you copy trade to all accounts? And you just mentioned you trade with different swing accounts. Yeah, so I don't have. I mean, I basically got one swing account. That's the only one that's independent. Everything else I do copy across. But I'll tell you one thing that I do, which is I will trade the correct risk management on my FTMO account. Every other prop firm that I have, I do smaller risk. So the copying is like a quarter of. So if I do, let's say, to keep the number simple, 1% on FTMO, it'd be 0.25% on one of the other prop firms. And there's two reasons why I do that. Number one, FTMO have never rejected a payment for me, no matter how big it's been. And number two, if something was to happen and I had a really bad month, and let's say I lost my FTMO accounts, I know I've still got other accounts that won't be affected. Like I'll be a little bit down, and then I can recover them. So those are the main reasons. And then what I would do in that scenario is I'd go and get another challenge, and then still trade it correctly, and just still carry on copying those trades into the other accounts. So that's just how I do it. Yeah, Krista, anything like gold, Bitcoin, crypto, silver, stocks, anything like that, anything that goes up over time is the kind of investments that I'm talking about. Or real estate, if you're into property, but it's not my thing, to be honest. Right, Dan, I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining. What will
Yeah, because otherwise you won't get your ticket.
Exactly. Go to the Facebook group if you can, guys. Comment raffle, and you'll all be added into the raffle for the 22nd. Like I said, for every single session that you join in the lead up to that event, you will get an additional ticket, which is awesome. And we'll be sending out the link shortly for you guys to register for that event. So Andy has promised that he will be dressed up as Santa. Which well, that's not what you said to me, Andy. So he has promised that. Just so you guys are aware, we're putting it out there. Andy is wearing a Santa's outfit. Absolutely. And he will be. But yes, guys, comment raffle. We'll send the link out for you to register. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. So we'll be live tomorrow afternoon.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Take care. Speak to you soon.